Okay, welcome. We're going to make a lens tracker spinner today. It's a little 3x3 inch spinner that you can easily attach onto the outside of your laser. That way you can know what size lens you have in your laser. So we'll get started by cutting the top piece, or the piece that you'll actually see. I chose to use just some fun colors. You don't have to use these colors. You don't even have to use the words that I'm using. I just chose to put what lens is in. So you cut the outer circle. As you see, I had to go back and engrave because I accidentally scored my letters instead. It still came out pretty nice. And then you cut that little window there so that you can see the text in later steps. The speed that I'm using to cut is 10. The power that I'm using is 80 at the high and 75 on my minimal. As you can see, it falls right out and it's cut beautifully. So let's move on to that middle piece. This is a clear acrylic. It's a clear cast acrylic. And as you can see, I'm engraving first so that nothing shifts while I am attempting to cut or while I'm continuing to work. So I've engraved my business name on the handle. And then each of the 4 quadrants that I chose to use, you can add more if you choose, but I provided a standard 4 quadrants. I chose to put the 4 most common lens sizes. So that's a 1.5 inch, a 2 inch, 2.5 inch, and 4 inch lens. It scores the lines in between each of those quadrants. It does cut that tiny circle in the middle. Please save that circle because you will need it in later steps. And then it cuts the overall outer portion of your middle piece to your lens tracker spinner. And once again, this falls right out of the acrylic perfectly with a beautiful cut and finish. Ignore my ash, I forgot to put on lotion. Okay, and lastly, we are going to cut the back piece. This is just a basic circle, and we will have a scored line for that tiny circle that we cut out in the previous step. That'll be right in the middle, so you know exactly where to place it so that everything lines up perfectly. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. Alcohol. I got facts over tracks. This and that spit slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness. A reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious. You think you're worth my time? You're delirious, mysterious because you are behind a fake exterior. Interior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get
off of me. This ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
And now you can set that aside. Next, we'll work on the back piece. It has been scored so you know where to put that center circle. Carefully protect the covering. You want to do that on both sides.
I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I've got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I'm gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so
Once you have
remarkable.
removed that protective covering, take that little circle, that little dot there, go ahead and peel the protective covering off of one side. This would be the piece that is cut out of the center
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it
Here
all
I'm just
myself.
using some acrylic adhesive, but I would recommend probably using 3M if you have it. It's easier, it's cleaner, it's much quicker, but you only need it on that small little circle, so you can cut that circle out separately. If you use the adhesive like I am, use a very small drop and place your circle, that little circle, in the very center in that scored area on your back piece. Press it down firmly and set it aside to dry. Now we will work on that center piece, and we will take our time to carefully remove the protective covering. Once you've removed that covering, take a microfiber cloth or a paper towel and some alcohol, and you can just rub it gently. As you can see, I've engraved my wording, so it's a little difficult to get that protective covering out of all of the pieces there. So just a little bit of pressure with that microfiber cloth and alcohol, those pieces will come right out. Covering from the front and the back, you can place that over the top of that little circle there. You can test to make sure that it can spin by just taking that little handle that we created and sliding it back and forth. Now you will take your tweezers and gently remove that protective covering or coating over the top of that small circle in the center. And here is where I say it's probably better to use a little bit of 3M. However, you can use the adhesive that I am using. Just use a very small dot, and you want to make sure that you allow it time to properly cure and set up before trying to spin your spinner. Once you've applied that adhesive on that center circle, now you will take your top piece that you set aside earlier and carefully place it over the top of your bottom piece and your middle piece. Careful to align the edges so that everything is even. Once you've properly aligned it, make sure to give it a nice press in the center to make sure that you have all of the pieces adhered. After probably about a good 5 minutes, it should definitely be dry, and it should have set and cured a little bit. So now you should be able to spin your middle piece using that little tab there, that little handle tab. I chose to attach a rare earth magnet on the back side of mine to easily place it on my laser. This allows me to remove it, switch it out if necessary, and not damage my laser. As you can see, my lens tracker is spinning all around. That's because of the magnet on the back. It's causing the whole piece to spin. So I'm trying to do this one-handed and record at the same time, but I am able to hold it in place and my middle piece spins freely. Please ignore the smears on the back of my lens tracker. That's from overspilled glue. So again, please be careful if you're using the acrylic adhesive. You don't want that on the front of your tracker. Okay, we're done. If you like this video, please hit the like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time, see you later.
Before you know it, you're on your way.